For the best meat you have ever eaten in your life, go to samsbutchershop.com. Enter the coupon code Triple T when you check out for a 10% discount. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. A lot going on, but let me do a little housekeeping real quickly. It is actually Sunday evening. What is today? The 3rd of March, I believe. And I'll be releasing this video on Monday morning, tomorrow morning. And I don't know when you'll watch it, but if you watch it in the morning, I will be on the road. I am finally leaving here tomorrow morning, bright and early, on my way to Missouri to pick up Marina. Finally, I took her up there December the 26th. She's been up there helping her dad for over 2 months, but he is up and doing really well, and so I'm going to get her tomorrow. So a little programming note: I'm doing this video tonight so that I'll have some content up for you tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen Tuesday because I'm going to go up tomorrow morning. It's a 10-hour trip. I'll get to my father-in-law's house, walk in the door, and collapse into bed. And then we'll get up early Tuesday morning and drive 10 hours back home, walk in the door, and collapse into bed again. So I don't know what's going to happen video-wise on Tuesday or Wednesday, but I will do the best I can. Just hang in there with me. I'm excited for Marina to get back because we really have big plans for the channel. We're really going to ramp things up and make it a little more professional and a little bit of a better presentation, I believe. She's got to get to work on our taxes when she gets back. So that's going to take her a few days. And then after that, she's going to clock in on the channel, and we're both going to give it a much bigger effort and make it a better channel in the days ahead. So if you don't see me Tuesday or Wednesday, you know what's going on. I still have a job, I got to work as well. So there's just a lot going on, and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. I'll try and shoot a little video from the road perhaps and check in with you, but otherwise, a really busy, hectic week, getting a lot of stuff done. But for now, I've got to touch on some headlines here, and I want to start with Attorney General Merrick Garland. You may know Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland came to light, or to prominence, I guess you could say, back during the Obama administration when he was nominated at the end of Obama's second term. Of course, he's in his third term now. But he nominated Merrick Garland to the Supreme Court. To his credit, I have to be honest, the turtle, Mitch McConnell, would not bring him up for a vote. It was in the final months of the first Obama presidency. And so that was the last we heard of Garland. But of course, when the current occupant of the White House got into office, he named this has-been, Merrick Garland, as his Attorney General. So he is now the head of the Department of Justice. So today, as you see it, it'll be yesterday, but today, Merrick Garland went down to good old Selma, Alabama, which is the capital of the United States for victimology. Everybody who wants to pander to black Americans has to make the trek to Selma, Alabama. That's how Rush Limbaugh used to say it in a pitiful fashion, and he was right about that. Selma. Let me tell you something. I've been to Selma, Alabama. Selma is the armpit of Alabama, and I kid you not, it is a depressing place to go. You can almost feel it when you go through the town. It's just a funk that hangs over the town. It's crime-ridden. It's not one of your vacation destinations. Let's just put it that way. I've been there once, and once was enough. But of course, the Democratic politicians and bureaucrats who want to pander to black people and just pet them and acknowledge that they're just victims, they have to make the trek to Selma so that they can pander to them. And more on that in just a minute. I want to get to what he said. Merrick Garland stood in the pulpit of a church in Selma, and this is what he said, and I quote, "This is just nothing but lies." That's not the quote. Here's the quote. The right to vote is still under attack, and that is why the Justice Department is fighting back. We are challenging efforts by states and jurisdictions who implement discriminatory, burdensome, and unnecessary restrictions on access to the ballot, including those related to mail-in voting, the use of drop boxes, and voter ID requirements, unquote. This is nothing but a pack of lies. Let's pick this apart real quick. He said the right to vote is still under attack. That is a lie. The right to vote is not under attack. Any legal American can go and vote, and nobody's going to stop you. Nobody is going to suppress you. You may have to wait in line. I hope you do have to wait in line, actually. But nobody's going to stop anybody from voting as long as you're a legal citizen. But as far as I know, maybe illegals can vote now. I know dead people can vote, but certainly no person is turned away from any voting precinct because of the color of his skin. And it is simple as that. The right to vote, he says, is under attack. That is a lie. It is not under attack. In my opinion, it is far too easy to vote. I would make it more difficult. But let me continue with Garland. He says, we are challenging these efforts by the states to put these unnecessary restrictions on access to the ballot, including mail-in voting. Well, I hope your efforts fail, Attorney General Garland, because there needs to be restrictions on mail-in voting and the use of drop boxes. If I had my way, there would be no drop boxes. We've all seen the videos of what happened with the drop boxes in the last election. You want to talk about some fraud? There was a lot of fraud in these drop boxes. Go watch the film 2,000 Mules. You'll see what I'm talking about. There's plenty of video evidence, proof of what happened with the drop boxes. They were just nothing but boxes full of fraud. That's all they were. And he says we are challenging voter ID requirements. Can you believe this? What are the voting ID requirements? I'll tell you what they are. Number one, you've got to be a citizen of the United States. Let me not get sidetracked. And you are supposed to display a photo ID as far as I know. I know that every time I've gone to vote, I had to display a photo ID. I'd give them a copy of my driver's license. I give them my driver's license. No harm, no foul. No big deal. I mean, think of all the places you go where you have to present identification. The bank, will call at a ticket window. If you get pulled over by a cop, show me some identification. Who doesn't have identification? What legal American citizen doesn't have a photo identification of some kind? Why is this cumbersome? Why is this asking too much? What does this have to do with suppressing a vote? And why does Merrick Garland and Hillary Clinton and Democrats couch such things in the term of racism? Because it's racist to ask black people to present photo identification. Well, they asked me for my photo identification. Is that racist toward me? I'm telling you, they are doing everything they can to have a repeat of 2020. They don't want all these voting restrictions, quote unquote, in place. They want anybody to be able to vote, citizen or not, no matter what your skin color. It doesn't matter. They want everybody they can get to cast a vote. They want no restrictions anywhere. They want you to be able to vote anytime, anywhere, anyhow, and have it count. You should have to present ID when you go to vote. That is the least that should be expected of you. I've got no problem with what Vivek Ramaswamy said. Make people pass some kind of a civics test. Make it harder to vote. Why not? It's too easy to vote. That's why our voting system is so corrupt, because anybody can participate, citizen or non. It seems like, anyway. Whether you've got ID or not. Go find a drop box and put something in there. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's completely out of control. It's completely out of hand. And Merrick Garland uses a word I want to talk about for a minute. He says we're challenging efforts by states who implement discriminatory restrictions. I want to talk about the word discrimination for a moment. You know, the word discrimination has a negative connotation anymore, but I maintain discrimination is a good thing. Discrimination is a good thing. We should be people of discrimination, people who use discrimination. I discriminate from the moment I get out of bed. Do you not? I use discrimination. I have to discriminate between good and bad, right and wrong. It's not bad to be discriminatory. But these people are always talking about, oh, it's discrimination. Well, discrimination is not necessarily a bad thing. It's good to use some discrimination. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. These people, I'm just so over this stuff, and I'm telling you, I want you to imagine for a moment that you are a law-abiding, tax-paying, job-holding black American. And Merrick Garland comes to your church, and he says crap like this to you. You do realize, of course, that these rich, white, elite people like Merrick Garland and Hillary Clinton go to Selma, Alabama, and do nothing but pander to black people. It is insulting. It is degrading to them that these white people talk down to them as they do, as if they have inferior intelligence. But there are a lot of people out there who feed on being victims. I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to be a victim of anything. I'm not a victim. I am the master of my own destiny. I'm not a victim. I don't need your pity. I don't need you to pander to me. I don't need you to pet me on the head and there, we understand, you're down for the struggle. I will take care of things myself. I am not a victim. I don't want to be seen as a victim. I don't want to be pandered to by these rich white elites from D.C. Hillary Clinton goes to this same church a few years back and she goes, I ain't in no ways tired. Talking to black people like that. And they sit there and take it. You know, if you're a black American watching me right now, I want you to know I would never look down on you. I would never pander to you. I would see you as my equal. And I would not degrade you by talking to you like this, like you're a child, or like you're a victim, or like you're less intelligent than I am, or like you have less worth than I do. I don't look down on you because of the color of your skin. I don't care what the color of your skin is. I will not pander to anyone. I don't care who they are. It's insulting. It's degrading. I don't want anybody doing it to me, and I'm not going to do it to anybody else. What I want people to do to me is challenge me. I want people to look at me and say, hey, you can do better. You can pick yourself up and make a better life for yourself. That's what they should be telling them. Why is Selma stuck in such a rut? It's because of people like Merrick Garland and Hillary Clinton and Barack Hussein Obama, who do nothing but use black Americans for their own political betterment. They want to keep them down as victims, keep them on the government dole so they'll be dependent upon people like Merrick Garland and Joe Biden and Barack Obama. I want them to be free, man. I want them to embrace liberty. I want them to live the best life they can without being a slave to the government. Because that's what so many of them are. Slavery ain't dead, folks. Thank you, Lyndon Johnson. All right, let me move on from that. That's just such a sad and sordid tale. Merrick Garland, you're pathetic. You're the typical Democrat. Department of Justice. Just ridiculous. Get back to Washington, D.C., Merrick Garland. If you want to pander to somebody, if you want to have pity on somebody, how about the damn J6 prisoners you've got in a dungeon in the shadow of the White House, Merrick Garland? Why don't you have pity on them? You degenerate reprobate. God, these people burn me up. And another one, Alejandro Mayorkas, the head of the Department of Homeland Security. Mayorkas appeared Sunday morning, on Face the Nation. Now, I told you last week about the tragic and brutal murder of Laken Riley, this 22-year-old University of Georgia nursing student. Alejandro Mayorkas went on Face the Nation Sunday morning, and he refused to answer whether or not an illegal alien who killed her should be deported. He was asked point blank, should this man have been deported? And his response is as follows, quote, "One individual is responsible for the murder, and that is the murderer," unquote. The reporter continued, "Are you saying that the federal government had been informed about this individual and that the alleged crimes he had committed in those states because he could have been deported if that was the case? Was there a breakdown in the system?" He replied, there are a number of cities around the country that have varying degrees of cooperation with the immigration authorities. Is that a non-answer or what? Should this illegal alien, this vermin from Venezuela who killed Laken Riley, should he have been deported? Secretary Mayorkas, the answer to the question is simply this. Hell yes, he should have been deported, but he wasn't. And by the way, before I get too far, before I forget it, he was quoted on film saying, I saw this on Twitter, that he has directed his department, the Department of Homeland Security, to not use the term illegal immigrants any longer. I wish I'd written this down. I forget what we're supposed to call them now. Undocumented citizens, I think he said. Undocumented migrants, perhaps it was. Undocumented something. But you can't call them illegal aliens anymore, according to Secretary Mayorkas. Well, you don't run this channel, Mr. Mayorkas, and they are illegal aliens, and I will refer to them thusly. That's what they are. Can you believe the head of the Department of Homeland Security, number one, will not use the term illegal alien and forbids those in his department to use the term. Number two, when asked about the murder of Laken Riley, he would not say her name, would not utter a syllable of Laken Riley's name. I will not forget you, honey. And do you realize that the occupant of the White House, the puppet of the third term of Barack Obama, also to this day has not said the name Laken Riley? Biden will not say her name. Merrick Garland will not say her name. Alejandro Mayorkas will not say her name. I know of no Democrat who will not say her name, but I will say her name repeatedly. Laken Hope Riley, killed by an illegal immigrant. I'm telling you, this is a winning issue for Joe Biden. He should latch onto this like a pit bull. He should be uttering her name every chance he gets. And should it be that there are debates between Joe Biden and Barack, Joe Biden and Donald Trump should use her name repeatedly, ad nauseum. Just say it over and over and over. Make this election about Laken Riley, because she is the figurehead. She is symbolic of every American who has been victimized, real, actual victims, murdered by these illegal aliens that Mayorkas won't do a damn thing about. Donald Trump should say Laken Riley's name until Biden has to cover his ears and run off the stage or shuffle off the stage. Laken Hope Riley. Use it over and over and over again. One last thing before I go, because I still got to do a little packing and cleaning up before I get out of here. I've got to get to Dr. Jill Biden, the wife of the occupant of the White House. Jill Biden went and spoke in Atlanta at a, what was this event? She visited the Women for Biden-Harris program in Atlanta. She went there instead of her husband. I'm thinking maybe he's just too feeble to make the trip. Whatever the case, Joe didn't go, so Jill went. Jill went in his place, and I want to tell you what not going to read for you everything she said. I just want to read one sentence of what Jill Biden said to this Biden-friendly crowd in Atlanta. I'm so ashamed that there are people in Georgia that would vote for Joe Biden. You know, I'm from Georgia. I can tell you a little bit about the state. It's kind of like a lot of states in that it's two states. There's Atlanta, and then there's the rest of Georgia. And all the lunatics live in Atlanta, and all the sane people are sitting in their rockers on the front porch eating a peach. Those are the sane Georgians. I'm one of them. But she goes and speaks to this event in Atlanta, and she says, among other things, this, quote, "Donald Trump is dangerous to women and our families. We simply cannot let him win," she said, unquote. Let me ask you women that are watching me a question right now. Let me know down in the comments. I'm dead serious about this. Let me know down in the comments. Would you say, ladies, that Donald Trump is dangerous to you? Serious question. Would you say Donald Trump is dangerous to you? If you are watching this video, you are a female. You are actually a female. You're not confused about your gender. And if you feel that Donald Trump is a danger to you, would you please tell me in the comments why you believe that? I'm dead serious. I would love to know why you believe he is a danger to you. If you think he's not, then say that in the comments. But I'm really interested to hear from any woman, anywhere, American or not, who believes Trump is a danger to you and why. I would really love to know. Now, let me tell you my thoughts about Jill Biden. First of all, Donald Trump is a danger only to those who want to destroy America. That's who he's a danger to. He's not a danger to women. But I've got a bone to pick with Jill Biden. And I want to talk to you ladies again. Let's assume for a moment, you ladies, let's assume that you are married to a man, not to Joe Biden. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But let's assume that you are married to a man who has, let's say, similar medical issues as Joe Biden has. Are you with me? Joe Biden has obvious cognitive issues. Joe Biden has obvious mental decline. I don't know whether he has dementia. I don't know what he has. I don't know what his afflictions are. It's difficult for him to walk. It's difficult for him to complete a sentence. He can't go up a flight of stairs, it seems, without tripping. He does not do a freewheeling press conference like Donald Trump would. Donald Trump talked to anybody. He doesn't care. He can't. He has to have things written out for him. He has to be told who to call upon. He is obviously mentally deficient. But I want you ladies to answer this question for me. If you had a husband with a similar medical condition, would you be encouraging him to run for the presidency? Would you be encouraging him to get out in front of people and give speeches? Would you be subjecting your husband to what any president must necessarily be subjected to? Would you? I remember watching back before the election when he was already showing issues like this. And Marina and I were talking about it and talking about the fact that, what wife, what woman who is married to a man like that, what wife would subject her poor husband to this kind of treatment? I mean, seriously. Jill Biden, you never heard a Tammy Wynette song in your life, Stand By Your Man? I mean, if your husband was in this medical condition and you love your husband, you care about his welfare, you care about his dignity, would you subject your husband to what Jill Biden is subjecting her to her husband? If you loved your husband, would you do that? Could it be that Jill Biden doesn't care about her husband? Could it be that she doesn't love her husband? Could it be that she lusts after power and position so much that she's willing to have her husband go through what he went through and is going through? Is that possible? I'm just asking. What kind of wife would subject her husband to this kind of treatment and really embarrassment? I mean, I wouldn't think much of a woman who would do that to her husband. I got to be honest with you. I know, I can tell you straight up, Marina would never do that to me. Marina would, if she saw me in that kind of condition and I talked about running for president, she'd say, not no, but hell no. Now get over in your chair, drink your milk, and read your paper, and I'll turn on the TV so you can watch Matlock reruns, which I do, by the way, anyway. That's what a loving wife would do. That's what a caring wife would do. A wife who loved her husband would take care of him and not expose him to this this humiliation. What kind of woman are you, Jill Biden? My goodness gracious. All right, folks, that's what's going on. I got to go in and get a few things packed up so I can hit the road early in the morning. It's Monday now, if you're watching this. Hey, thank you so much for joining me. Give me a big thumbs up for the video down below. I would really appreciate that. And comment if you would, please. I'd appreciate that as well. And subscribe to the old Triple T channel. I'll be back with you as soon as I possibly can. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I really appreciate that. And I will see you soon with Marina.